Hello everyone, this is Charulata, Department of Computer Application Assistant Professor. Let us review the conditional logic and expression. Let's talk about let's start with the flow charts. So flow charts are way to graphically organize algorithm. An algorithm is just a set of steps to solve a problem. So to solve problem, there are certain logical elements I need to be implemented. For example, I need to be able to implement the inputs and outputs and calculations. Well, we have learned so far to implement an input in C sharp. I can use read line and to implement the output in C sharp. I can use write line and implement some work. And then we have branch in one directional in our code, and if it is a false we branch in another direction. So the condition blocks allow our programs to make decision and just the follow flow of our program accordingly. In order to store this true or false value, we need a new data type, and the data type is called the boolean data type or bool. So a boolean data type holds the literal values true or false. Now true or false. Now true and false in C sharp. This are not a string, they are values, just like the number one in an integer value. So lower case true is boolean value, lower case false is boolean value. To create this test, this conditions, we need conditional operators. Just like we have algebraic operations operators. The conditional operator that allows use to conditional test. These conditional operators are the greater than, less than, or equal to, less or than, equal to, is not equal. With these conditional operators, we have built conditional expression. A conditional expression combines two values. With a conditional operator, a conditional expression always produces a boolean value. So for example, here I have a conditional expression. Password is equal to kitten 123. The password is kitten 123. The string kitten 123, this condition will either procedure the value true if the password is equal to kitten 123, or false if the password, the value is not equal to. We also have the three logical operators in C sharp. These logical operators allows us to combine the multiple conditional expression to create a larger conditional expression. So if I want to combine for example, is your title equal to professor and is your salary under 10,000, we can build those types of expressions. So here I have truth table that illustrated how the logical and or not operators working. If I have two expression, my expression can either produce true or false. My expression B can either produce the true or false. And here I have the all four combination that I can get from the combining expression A and B. The AND operator produce the boolean value. True only if both A and B are true. So if expression is true and the expression B is true, and the B is A and B is true, but if either A or B are false, then A and B produce the false. Now the logical or operator only requires one of the two operator conditions to be the true. So if A is true or B is true, then A or B is true. So you can see here, if they are both true, well, definitely at least one is true. So that is true. If A is true, B is false. A or B is true. If A is false, B is true. And then A or B is true, but if both conditions are false in the OR case, then the entire expression is false. So and is used if I need to require the um, uh, all expressions to be the true, or used in the I just need to one set of conditions. Uh, one set of conditions. And then the conditional operators and logical operators will allow you to think the solution of conditions. You write the syntax of build the conditions, and now that we can build the conditional expression, we can implement a condition block. And in C sharp, the syntax we have used the called if else statement, and the way it works, we you have the keyword if followed by the condition we want to test, and then we attach a code block to the if statement and the following that if code block 1. I have an else statement with no conditions, and then I attached another code block, and the way with this syntax works. And then we move to the if else statements. um, The if else statement can be inserted inside one another. There is no limit how many if and else statement can be put inside. Inside other if else statement, others if else statement. So in this example, I am testing one condition, and if this condition is true, I want to test a second condition, and if I first condition is false, I want to test a third conditions. And so here you can see if my first condition is true, this branch I have an if else in the second condition. Here's my if else inside my else code block of my first condition, that the false. I have the statements can put inside the either code block of and the if else syntax. There are some special cases to if else syntax. For example, the else condition is always optional. If you have a logic, if you are the designing the solution to a program where you are testing the condition, and if that condition is true, I want to do work the if conditions is false. And then I want to work, and if the condition is false, well, I just don't want to anything extra. I just want to go with my program. In the case of the else condition can omitted, so I can just have a if an if statement. If some condition is true, I do the extra work. If this condition is false, I just keep the if block and go on with my code. Another special case exists. If I am trying to test, I am looking for one correct conditions or one true conditions from the set of multiple conditions. Okay, so the nested logic might look something like this. Well, if the condition 1 is true, I want to do work one otherwise else. I am going to say, well, if the condition is a second condition is true, I want do or otherwise here's my else. I want to test another conditions. Okay, well, I am able to simplify the syntax, and I am kind of show the evaluation to getting from the starting point to the end point using something called if else. And then we move to the switch statement. The switch syntax, the way it works is we start with the switch keyword, and then I am not testing the condition expression. I am just condition testing a variable that holds a value like age or grade or name, and then I am going to build the set of cases, and those cases will followed by the values, and that I am trying to match on the condition variable. And whenever I am find a case, I go on conditional variable equals the value. I gonna execute all the statement under this case until I hit the break once. I hit a break statement, I exit the switch, and I am done. If the first case does not match, I test that next case, and on and on until I find the matching cases, the default case work, like the else block. If no, if I don't know find any matching cases in the syntax, I will execute the all statement in the default case until I hit the break statement, and then I am done. Okay, so the switch statement is just a alternate way to building the if else if blocks. Now that we have a boolean variable to play with we have a make our parse method a little bit stronger currently. The parser method will crash. The stronger method will crash if you want if you try to parse or convert on numeric string value into the number. For example, if I were to call in a dot parser on the string potato, this cannot be potato string cannot be converted to an int. So this word crash your program. It throws an exception. The try pause method is an alternate to the parse method. What the try pause method does? It return a boolean value true if the parse work, and the returns a boolean value false if the parse fails. So we can use this syntax to test an input to see whether I can convert it to number or not. It won't and then our program, now the output instead for being directly returned from the method, the number and the number is actually written through this out parameter here. And then we will let's look at a couple examples of try parser. So I have here I have the three variables. I have an x and integer x and double y and a boolean value that I name the status here every time. I use try parser. Two values are going to change the status value is going to be set via the return boolean value from the try parser, and integer or double variable is going to be set here. So let's look at how this works. If I were to pass in the string 1 2 3 that has the numbers 1 2 3 in it, and then I try to pass into int. Well, this method is going to 1 2 3 can be converted to the actual number 1 2 3. So try parser will return true and the value assigned into x will be the number 1 2 3. So status will be true. X is assigned the value 1 2 3. If I try the parser the value containing 1.23, I cannot convert it into the integer number. It's double value. So try parser returns the value false, and then x the output variable is going to be the assigned by the default variable 0. So whenever we want to we cannot parse a number, the output is assigned by the value 0. In our third example, I try to parse a string a b c into an int. Well, okay, I cannot do that. So try parser returns a false and x is assigned the default value of 0. Now I can try to parse it into any numeric type. So we are going to try to pass into double now. Well, if I take the integer value 1 2 3 inside the string and try pass it to that into a double, this work will be returns into the status. And then we using to strong user promotes, that is the old promote can use try to now build the strong user promotes. So the old promote syntax we have to write followed by the read. Tried to convert it into a number if necessary and save the result, but the syntax will crash if the user enters in a non-integer number or non-numeric number. So here I have an example for the stronger promote here. And then we move to the test your knowledge. um, so sorry for the trouble. I can try to handle this all right. Let's do some test problems. So here I have three problems listed for your practices, and let's to work with this three problems here. First problem is set promote the user enter their age. If the user enters a non-integer number, display not a valid age, otherwise display how old they will be next year. Okay, so I want to do two different things depending on what the user entered. I go need some type of conditional logic, and I am and if statement. So let's make it this work. First we will promote user enter their age. We are going to need the variable to hold their age. I don't know, the user is going to enter the correct numeric value, so I am need to use a um, try pauser to test a try pauser returns a boolean variable or value. So I need to boolean variable to hold that value, so I am going to create the variable called parser. Okay, and now let's build our promote prompt. I'm going to say console dot write uh, console dot write, and then we move to the next parser console. It's actually working with a console dot read line and out and age. And then so I am going to say, well, if that parser okay value hold that value true, that means the user did enter the number that I could test. So I am converted how old. I will print how old they will be next year. Console dot write line next year, and then I will print how old for the next year. You will be this year old, and insert my age plus 1. And then I know I can do this the match because the user gave me a value that could be converted into the number. Otherwise else I am going to print out not valid age console. And for example, promote the users enter a show size if the user enters a non-integer value output, and not a valid size. If the user enters a negative number output, the show size should be the positive number. Otherwise the output is thank you. And then we move to the so we have the three testers here. We are testing for it's a number negative. If it is correct, I am going to use only one. Those three optional need correct some. I am going to use this if syntax here. So we used I need to show size variable. I am going to say int size, and let's go to head. We will make the double size to change that. And then we parse k is equal to double dot try parser. I am going to try the parser the user input console dot read line and store the result into my size variables. That's my initial promote. Well, now I need to do some test. Well, I am going to say if that parser is equal to false, that means they did not enter the valid number. Okay, so we will say console dot write line not a valid size, else I have a second conditions. I want to test well if it was a valid. If the condition is false, which means the user entered a good number, well, then I want to test to see if the value is negative. So I say, well, else if size is less than 0, I say console dot write line show size should be the positive number. And then finally, well, if it is not a bad number and if it is not a negative number, that is negative number, it should be a good. So we are go move to the output. Thank you, close. All right. Then then I have a put I am put a little new line to separate. That means this example for previous one, when we tested them. All right, let's okay. At the final example, promote the user to enter the length and width. The user enter the length and width of the room in meters. If either input is not number or negative value, output an error messages and end the program. Otherwise calculate and output the area of room. So now I have the several. So and then now I have several tests. That means I need to do here, and we can actually implement this logic in multiple ways. I show you one way. So we want to first promote the prompt user to see for the number, and then test to see if an mm, if the first let's prompt for the length. So this is the look very similar to the way this examples we did above. The first going to say, let's create some variable. I will go say double length, I will make a width, and I am already have my parser. Okay. So the value, the reuse, that let's get the first length promotes going to console dot write enter room length console if the parser is good and the length is not negative. Okay. So we move to, and then we move to console dot write prompt for width. This console dot write line input error. If an any expressions are here, exceptions are here, this will be used, and then we enter the room width. First we use a room length, and we use to room width. Okay. This is the example for creating programs for exceptions. So the area of your room is, let's go ahead and display it to decimal. There are go. Now let's test some our examples. I will put a new line here, separate the result first. So I am testing my program under the failed conditions. All three of these examples under failed conditions. Okay, we say enter your age. I am entering the kitten. Enter the kitten. If any error messages or is displayed, it console dot write line the area of your room width in meters, and we say the parcel k is equal to parcel console dot enter your age. I just using kitten. Okay, not a valid age. The output is not a valid age. And then we move to the second good. I can calculate the area, otherwise I can block here. The positive number is displayed. We will spit out the result call as the with our right line area of your room. And we will say the negative for negative 4, and it says show size should be a positive number. We will try to parser the negative 4 into the double. It actually worked. So the parser was a true parser held the value true. So the first condition was false. We skipped that. If block we tested the second condition was size less than, well, it is the negative 4 is less than 0. So this condition is the condition is true. And then so we put the enter the age. I say then 42, and you will be the 43. So this is in the case try to successfully to string 42. So equal false was not true. I skipped it. Size was 11. So size was not less than 0. So we skipped into the else. The block, all right. Finally enter the room length in meters. I will say 12.3. Then I got to the next prompt. I say 11.1. This case is costly. First my length prompt both passed correctly and the length value greater than 0. So we enter if code block then my second prompt passed correctly. Okay. So this is the final one. Thank you for watching, and this example is I hope this is very understandable. Okay. Thank you so much.